I've been caring for people at the end of life, doing palliative care now for over 3 decades. And this is an issue that's very near and dear to my heart. The early days of palliative care, we spent a lot of time talking to patients, talking to our colleagues, saying, no, we are not Dr. Death. Palliative care does not hasten or prolong natural death. That's one of the basic principles. As the other two physicians have said, we want to help you live well, live symptom-free, live as you would want to live until your natural death. And we need places like the Delta Hospice where your worst day is not going to be your last day. Some of this situation is really disturbing because the Speaker of the House of the previous legislature, Darryl Plecas, who did a white paper about what should happen with hospices in the province of British Columbia. And it was done very well, it was unbiased. And what he suggested was that hospices that were paid for fully by the health authority should do whatever the health authority said. But hospices that were partially independent or completely independent should be allowed to follow the dictates of their board and their constitutions. And that would mean that the Delta Hospice could remain a sanctuary for people who did not want to have anything to do with euthanasia, either for themselves or to have their families exposed to it when they were there. So the government completely sidestepped that and just is doing what Dr. Johnston said is really a bullying tactic. Now, I think about this myself, and I think if I come to the end of my life and I'm in a position where I am desperate for some reason, I've lost hope, maybe I'm having some symptoms that we're having trouble getting under control, but we can always get them under control at some point, but maybe it's a bad day for me. I want to be sure that I'm in a place that won't take me at my word when I say I just want to die. I want to be in a place where people will love me, who will come alongside me, who will provide hope for me and say, what's the worst part of this for you? How can we help you? How can we reframe hope for you? How can we help you control your symptoms? How can we help you come together with your family? That's what this is all about. It's not about rights. Rights are an admission that love has failed. This is about loving each other. This is about what it means to be a Canadian, to care for each other, even when it's hard, not to just say, oh, well, you wish you were dead. Well, we can make that happen. And we need to have places where people can go, like I want to go to at the end of my life, where even if I'm acting desperate, that people won't take me at my word. They will love me, they will care for me, they will support me. And I don't have to be afraid that somehow in a moment of desperation at the end of my life, all of the things that I have fought for and wanted in my life will be compromised by a physical or an emotional symptom. That's what palliative care is all about. It's about total care, care for the person physically, emotionally, spiritually, and socially with the family. And that's what the Delta Hospice provides. We don't want to just be a place where when you come there, there's the opportunity for you to choose to be to have your life taken early. That's not what it's all about to be a Canadian. We care for each other. We are willing to wait so that others can have care. Look at all the money that was raised by private citizens for the Delta Hospice Society because they cared about their neighbors. That's what this is all about. That's what we need to do. We need to protect these sanctuaries, and we need to say, not only the Delta Hospice Society, but other societies, other hospices across the country need to be able to have this protection too. Even if all you have this from is a democratic standpoint, as Dr. Hilliard was pointing out, 95% of people don't want this. So why should tax dollars be forced to be used for this purpose in every single facility? If you are no longer wanting or needing intensive care, for example, you don't get a choice about whether or not you stay in the intensive care unit. You're moved out if that's the case. If you decide you no longer want to have have renal dialysis. They don't force the renal dialysis people to keep you there in the renal dialysis unit while you are weaned off dialysis. We know this. This isn't good patient care. This isn't good care of the families. It's not good for our society. We need to protect this sanctuary space. We need to support the Delta Hospice, and we need to let our politicians and the people who are in charge of these things know that this is not what we want.